guys, let's talk about how to land that ortho job interview. So I have just general interview tips in other videos and podcast episodes, and I'll link those below in this description of this video. But let's talk about ortho specifically. So my first tip is to sprinkle orthopedic terminology into your interview, okay? Even if you've never worked on an ortho unit before, I've got some blog posts that describe some things that ortho nurses do. I also have a webinar with an orthopedic nurse practitioner. Just familiarize yourself with some of those terms like a total knee arthroscopy or TKA or a posterior hip precautions and things like that. If you can kind of sprinkle those into the interview, it shows that, hey, I'm interested in this position. I'm somewhat aware of some of the different things that I'll be responsible for. And it really communicates very strongly to the hiring manager or whomever you're interviewing with that, oh wait, this person they haven't worked in ortho before, but they're doing what they can to learn about it. That looks phenomenal. So another thing that you can do is discuss some of your strengths that align specifically with the duties of an orthopedic nurse. So, a couple of things that ortho nurses do. I'll have a link to the video that I have of different responsibilities of ortho nurses, but things like pain management, post-operative pain and nausea management, if you can talk about experiences with that, any experiences with building working relationships with surgeons, because as an ortho nurse, you're going to be working with surgeons quite a bit. The value you see in physical therapy. Physical therapy is going to be taking care of every single one of your patients. Or talking about how you can really navigate and coordinate patient care between a multitude of disciplines like PT, OT, this medical team, case management, social workers, so that they can be safely discharged home. And talking about discharge disposition and making sure all of these goals are met and all these requirements are met to safely get that patient home promptly also speaks highly to those people looking to interview and hire people for an orthopedic nurse or a nursing unit, because it's so important to them. It's not only do we give them great care, but we also, a lot of insurance providers and CMS will only cover so much time in the hospital. So it's really important to maximize the time in the hospital and promptly get them home. And if you're cognizant of that, it is very valuable and speaks a lot to those people hiring. And also, this will be, if you've never had ortho experience before, this is obviously something where you've got things you've got to learn. You've got to learn how to take care of post-op hip replacement patients. You've got to learn how to deal with all the drains and the maybe external fixators and all those things, those devices that ortho nurses deal with, but being upfront about it and not thinking or acting like you already know, even though you don't, truly, I know there's a lot I have to learn in terms of devices and provider preferences and how the management specifically works for this unit, but I'm willing to learn, and I know that challenge is there, but I want to lean into it. That speaks so much more highly than someone pretending like they know everything, because you don't. If you've never worked ortho before, I never worked at this hospital with those surgeons, you're going to have a learning curve, and everybody is. So it's important to kind of call out that elephant in the room and say, I know there's a learning curve ahead of me, but I can do this, and I'm willing to and excited to learn more. I'm teachable, I'm coachable, I'm, yada, yada, yada. But don't say that stuff unless you actually are teachable and coachable, because if you say that and then you get the job and you're not, that really doesn't look good. So those are some tips for landing an ortho job. Learn some ortho buzzwords and sprinkle those into the interview. Discuss the strength of yours that align with the duties of an orthopedic nurse. And then finally, be upfront what you don't know about with orthopedics, but express and communicate a willingness to learn those things. So if you want to get ahead of the game and want to learn some of those, dive deeper into the responsibilities of an orthopedic nurse and those buzzwords and all these things that ortho nurses need to know, I have a link to the ultimate nursing resource for orthopedics, is the Ortho Strong Crash Course for New Ortho Nurses, written by a phenomenal nurse practitioner who works with some of the best ortho surgeons in the country, and she put everything that she's learned in her, over 10 years at the bedside and her career as a nurse practitioner into this course, and it is highly, highly valuable. So I encourage you to check that out as you prepare to rock your interview and land your job as an ortho nurse. Thanks, nurses. Stay fresh.